We're good? Hey, what's going on, guys? Michael here from PartsPro.PH. Hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic Saturday evening. If you're not, we're about to make it even better for you today. So today we've got a really awesome topic. This is something that I've been sort of waiting to do because I know there's a lot of you guys out there that have a lot of questions about ECU tuning. So this is something that we're really excited to bring to you guys. So if you guys do have any questions, while we're sort of having this live discussion, please don't hesitate to go ahead and comment down below. We'll make sure to ask all of our guests the questions that you guys do bring up. We've already got a ton of questions from you guys, but I know there's a lot more that haven't asked questions yet or are waiting to do it live. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in my co-host, Mr. Rafi David, who's going to be with me during this conversation this evening. I think, Rafi, I think you might be on mute. There you
I'm
go.
on.
All right,
Hey,
fantastic,
everybody.
fantastic. So we're
Hi,
going to be
everyone.
talking about ECU tuning today, Raf. I know this is something that you're familiar with. This is something that you've done in all of your vehicles, and I know you have a lot of experience to share with us through these various platforms that we have got today. So this is going to be something that's going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, well, I have experience in this as a customer, and I'm sure there are a lot of our Parts Pro customers as well that have had both good and bad experiences in tuning. And this is a way for us to present the different sides of tuning. And tuning isn't just all the same. We have one guest who represents chip tuning, easy chip tuning. And then we have another guest who represents custom chip tuning, which is remapping. And then we have another guest, Jeff De Leon, who does race tuning, and of course, different forms of race tuning, because race tuning isn't all the same. I mean, apart from tuning differently per day and for the atmospheric conditions, you're tuning differently for endurance racing, for drag racing, circuit sprint circuit racing, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to hold this up. There's so much to discuss.
Right,
Let's
exactly.
get going.
Yeah. So we'd like to introduce our guests to you guys. We've got three amazing guys. We've got Mr. Leo San Juan of Speedworks. We've also got Bjorn Doring from DTE Germany. I want to say a special thank you to Bjorn because it's early in the morning, or sorry, lunchtime right over there in Germany right now. And then we've got Mr. Jeff De Leon from Team 4Speed. So welcome, guys. I think you guys might be on mute. Leo and Jeff, you guys might be on mute. You guys can go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Okay.
There you go. And then Jeff, Mr. De Leon, if you can unmute yourself. Oh, we need
Well,
we
Paul's
need
gonna
assistance.
yeah, Paul's gonna have to Paul's gonna have to help him out with that.
But while we're waiting for, there you go, Jeff.
Hello.
Fantastic, fantastic. Welcome, guys. Welcome. If I can have if I can give you guys a couple minutes to sort of introduce yourselves, the kind of tuning that you've done. Let's go ahead and start with Leo.
Oh, all right. Hi, my name's Leo Carlos San Juan. So I'm from Speedworks Engineering, and what we do is we custom tune cars. So custom tuning is getting your stock file and then modifying it until it's right for the conditions and for all the mods that you have installed in the vehicle. It was also it would depend on like your driving style because, for example, like my dad, he would want conservative power and not aggressive torque. Then there are guys who would want instant power and instant torque, like especially the bulletproof cars and the other fun run people who we always go with.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
yeah, basically we custom tune. We started with the three Honda Civics back in 1999, and then my car is a turbocharged Civic from 1996, and then I started learning from that. And
You started tuning on that car.
yeah, I started tuning in that car, and then
Nice.
my partner Ryan, he had an EG which is turbocharged also, and then Chris had an SIR. So and then back in 2004 we started charging people for our services, and then it just grew from there.
So wait, 1996 was
Well,
when you started?
I've known Leo.
Is that right,
1990,
Leo?
I got my
Leo
car
said 1990.
stock, and then because of the libis and drag racing in the White Plains, by 1997 it was turbocharged already.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And then next, Mr. Bjorn Doring, if you can introduce yourselves.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. So we are here in Germany and it's very cloudy and rainy. So my name is Björn Döring. I'm working for DTE Systems and I'm responsible for the international sales. And DTE Systems is world's biggest manufacturer for chip tuning boxes and gas pedal tunings, the pedal box. DTE Systems was founded in the year 1996. And the idea was we came from the ECU remapping as well. And a lot of cars, especially in the former times, were financed and leased, and customers were asking us, what can we do in order to increase the performance of the engines, but without detecting from the dealer? And our engineers came to the idea to develop chip tuning boxes, which are installed to the sensors of the engines to give more power. This is our first product, and the second product is the pedal box, which is a kind of gas pedal tuning. The pedal box covers the gap when you accelerate. So most probably you know this kind of lag when you drive a heavy SUV or heavy pickup. So when you press the gas pedal, you directly accelerate, and the RPM rises sharply. It's for much better and much more smooth acceleration. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Bjorn. And we really we're so honored for you to spend your Saturday with us. So thank you so much for joining us in this evening, or at least evening for us in today's discussion. And finally,
I'm
we've
happy to
got
be with you.
Mr. Thank you, thank you. And then finally, we've got Mr. Jeff De Leon. Mr. De Leon, if you can introduce yourself to us.
Hi, good evening to everyone. I'm Jeffrey De Leon of 4-Speed CAD Racing. I started working on cars 2001 up until now. Just like Sir Leo said, I started also in Honda. So I started mainly on single cams, tuning single cams. 2000, I started drag racing. And then the first ECU that I tuned was Microtech from Australia. So after that, I moved into Chrome and Hondata. So right now, I'm most of my cars, of the cars that I tune are using Hondata and Chrome.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic. So if you guys are ready, I know we've already had a couple individuals ask. I think we've got Dominic Cuesta. He's already asking if he can go ahead and ask a question. Yes, Dominic, if you're watching right now, please just comment down any questions that you may have, and we'll be more than happy to.
We'll take Dom's question 5 minutes before closing, so he has to watch the whole thing.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to go ahead and ask and comment down below. We'll make sure to ask all of our guests today the questions that you guys have for them. Now, I already have quite a bit of questions from sort of the Parts Pro client base who's been sending me questions all week. So let's just go ahead and get started. Gentlemen, the first question I'd like to really ask you guys is, what is the difference between ECU Flash, a piggyback system, or a standalone ECU tuning?
Mm-hmm. Leo, do you want to start with the ECU mapping, or shall I start with the chip tuning boxes? Maybe I start.
Up to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead, Bjorn.
Go ahead, Bjorn. Yeah.
There are lots of differences, of course. So as I said, we also came from the ECU remapping, which is an absolutely good method to tune the engine. But we came to another idea to increase the performance, as I said, with this kind of chip tuning box. You know, the size, it's just a little bit bigger, maybe than a cigarette box. And it comes with a cable. And this cable is connected with the chip tuning box. And of course, finally, with the sensors of the engine. It's a simple plug and play solution. And which increases the performance, the horsepower and the torque up to 30%. Of course, it always depends on the individual engine. But if we are talking, for instance, about Golf 7 GTI, 220 horsepower, we reach about 300 horsepower, which is quite nice. So this just to give a general idea. We always recommend the installation through a garage or workshop. But at the end, this product comes also with a manual so that the end customer also knows how to install within 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about the DTE products, is that you could essentially install everything within a matter of minutes. You know, in your garage or in your driveway or anything like that. So that's one of the reasons why I think DTE is great, is because you could essentially plug it in and plug it off, and everything is pretty much done.
That's right. A quite important point is that we do not influence the original data on the ECU. So finally, we are always moving inside the tolerance of the engine. So all protection and safety mechanisms remain, which is quite important, especially if you drive a leased car, a finance car, or a new car. So this has a lot of advantages. You know? So you cannot break any engine parts.
Now, I'd like to ask that same question to Leo and Jeff. You know, what is the differences between ECU, piggyback, and standalone?
So with our custom tuning, what we do is we do it per car. So each car gets, for from the stock program, we put the tuned file and we customize the tuned file for that car. It would depend on the mods. So that is the main difference from. So that's why we can maximize the power, but data log it also to see if it's still safe and up to where we can go. That's the difference between the custom tune, and there are a lot of people who have been remapping. So what they do is they buy a tune from abroad or wherever, and then they put it on. If you have a Montero, then okay, all these Monteros get the same tune. So that's why
Mm.
we differentiate what we do, because we have the editing software itself for the
Mhm.
we edit the file for you. So that is just to clear things out, because lately remapping has been remapping is the general term, but like remapping is still different from the custom tune.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
you can get the
Okay.
stage one, stage two tunes from the remaps, but we do it per car, because every car is every car is different. Even if it comes from the factory as a mass-produced engine, it would like a Land Cruiser will do from 150 wheel horsepower to 200 wheel horsepower, even if they're stock. So as
Mhm.
for I think the main uh, if you use the tuning boxes, then yeah, like you said, it's easier to install, and
Hmm.
you can ship it to wherever. You can ship it to the province. You can ship it to where you are. Since we usually fly there, unless it's Ecutech, because Ecutech you can do remote tuning.
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So just
Maybe another
for
difference.
standalones, then more on if you have more hardcore applications like with the high horse GTRs,
Right.
or if you have a car ECU that's uncooperative. So with like Toyotas before, we cannot get into them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's one nice thing with a custom tune is you can really, if somebody's got this kind of an intake, with this kind of a sort of that wants to run this kind of a fuel injectors and things like that, with a custom tune, you could really individualize everything to whatever parts that the customer has already added to their car,
Yes,
which is nice. If somebody's running, it wants to run 1,000 cc injectors or run sort of like a flex fuel system, a custom tune is really going to be sort of able to extract the most power out of whatever parts, aftermarket parts that they've gotten, for their car. You Mr. DeLeon, would you like to chime in and let us know sort of, what you think are the differences?
Yeah, basically, the differences is just what like Sir Leon and Sir Leo said. Is that I think for my own opinion, the difference between Flash and a fully tuned ECU is you can directly custom whatever parts that the customer upgraded in the car, not like in a reflash, you just get it from someone else. For example, I think number one is the fuel, right? Because
Hmm.
other countries develop that mapping for their fuel, but and their climate, not like here in Philippines, it's tropical. So I think there's a little bit difference.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you bring up, Mr. Jeff, you bring up a great point that certain countries we're going to have, like, for example, coming from the US, in the East Coast, we tend to have 97, 95 octane, whereas in
Yeah.
California, the West Coast, I think they max out at 91 octane. Little things like that is really going to be different. A place like Colorado, where it's going to have sort of a colder temperature, whereas
Yeah,
somebody,
and
something
altitude. Yeah.
Philippines,
Yeah.
it's going to be completely different from tune to tune, which I think is beneficial, especially for a custom tune. And then, but you also have the ease of access or the ease of use, like you guys said, if someone in the province wanted sort of to extract more power out of their car and not necessarily or can't afford to fly somebody down there to do it or something like that, a system like a piggyback system like DTE has, they can easily, get it from the package, open up the manual, take 10 to 15 minutes, and then they've already extracted the most power out of their car from a stock standpoint. So really, it's a great question, and thank you guys for the amazing answers, because we've really sort of are able to let the customers know, hey, there are options, and each one is really going to be great for depending on what sort of goal
Application.
you have for your car, or what mods you've got for your car. Rafi, did you want to add anything in?
Well, basically, I'm a customer of all three. I'm a customer of Jeff, as our Parts Pro race car, our endurance car, the one that's owned by Mr. Edwin Lee, was tuned by Jeff. And I'm also a customer of Leo because my WRX STI, the GDBF, was tuned by Leo successfully. I've never had a problem in anything. And then I'm also a customer of DTE Systems after having bought a few of the tuning boxes from them as well. Each one of them has a different application for me. Like for DTE, I have it in the Navara, and I have it in our 520i, our G30 5 series. These are street cars, regular cars that we use, and we're just wanting to get a little more performance out of it. Like for the 5 series, it was like I'm able to buy a 520i and get the power and experience of a 530i, for much less money.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of the Parts Pro race car that Jeff tuned, that was a very special thing, because that car um, was a 8-hour endurance car, and as an 8-hour endurance car, Jeff had to tune it for number one, we had to make it fit within the horsepower regulations of the FM1 class.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, we also had to make the car last 8 hours on fewer fuel stops, and we had to be able to create a torque curve and a power curve also that would be able to match the best lap time that we could get vis-a-vis the fuel consumption that we would get for the car. Uh, we won that year that Jeff tuned our car, and then with Leo as well. The STI is an owner's dream waiting to happen. Meaning, it's a dream when you buy it, but without a tune and without some slight modifications, it isn't anywhere near what people imagine it to be.
Right.
A stock STI is probably at most what, Leo, about 220, 230 horsepower to the
250 at the wheel.
wheels,
Yeah, at the wheel. And all stock.
maybe. It
Yeah.
says 276, right, in the crank, and that's but then again, when we dyno the car and whatever, and you start it starts out as that, and then when by the time Leo's done with it, you're already looking at 290. And so, with just the tune, and my car doesn't even have exhaust or anything in it, and what. So in all three cases, I have successful implementations of different modes of tuning. Oh, and Mr. Cuesta, who also asked wanted to ask the question. He was a tuner of mine as well before, when I was racing
Mine
myself
too.
with
I
the
started,
with the OP STI. I think all of you guys, you other guys, have seen that car, and that was a different story as well. It's been, I think that each tuning platform or each tuning method really lends itself towards a different kind of application. Not necessarily a customer, because I'm the
Mm-hmm.
same guy, but a different application. Like, if you're going to use this car for this, then you can consider a race tune. If you're going to use the car on the track for racing, then you must consider the services of a race tuner, and a race tuner that has had useful experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to tune a road car, um, that you got, and maybe, after the first tune, maybe you're looking to just live with that tune for a long, long time, then you call Leo Speedworks, and so on. If you're looking to tune, a daily driver, just a regular car, like I said, the Navara or the 5 series or what, then that's maybe what, the 90%, 95% of other people that just want to get maybe 20 30% more performance out of their car, then DTE Systems has the hopefully has the product for you.
Hmm.
They're all under tuning, but they're all for different purposes.
Yes, and
Mhm.
speaking, since you brought up the daily driver, Rafi, the next question that I had from one of our clients is an ECU tune beneficial for a daily driver?
Well,
I'll let any of the guys go ahead and answer that for us.
again, it would all depend on what you want to experience with your car, because a lot of people, the ones who do not like cars, they see cars as just transportation. But for the people who enjoy cars, it's something that we want we want you to be excited to get into, and your usual daily commute, it becomes a good experience for you. So
A
if
little
you
bit more
more,
exciting.
more response, more enjoyment, then maybe tuning, tinkering is cool. But if you're just happy with getting from point A to point B, and or you just have your driver use it all the time, then it might not be for you. So like I always tell people, what do you want with your car? What do you want to happen? Do you want to
Mhm.
eat supercars for breakfast? Do you want to eat? Do you want your sedan to eat a sports car? So it would depend. That's why, and that's how I answer your questions, or just how that's how we ask around. So you don't get lost into buying all these things and end up going back in the beginning, because you realize that, the things you bought or what you got done is not enough for your goal.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you also want to, upgrade something with your car in the near future, for example, I think the first thing to do is, get the ECU retune or remap or everything, because everything you do with your car, the ECU should be the first thing. For me.
Mhm. Just in general, maybe just to give another idea. So we are also able to custom tune the software or the file of the power control. That's always possible. So we are in the year 2020, and we can send a new file, a custom tuned file, directly to the smartphone of the customer, of the driver.
Oh,
And
is that
the
possible? Okay.
smartphone, yes, indeed, yeah. And the
I'll send you
smartphone.
my file,
That would be
my
good if
log.
uh,
Okay.
we allow people to look at the software.
Let's talk about it after the live stream. Okay, it's not the general case, of course, but of course we worldwide have some petrol heads who want to have a more aggressive file, and here we can of course custom tune, and we send this file via remote to the smartphone of the driver, of the customer, and the smartphone connects via Bluetooth with the power control, and installs the new file, the modified file, directly on the power control to give more performance, more power to the engine. But we always have to keep in mind that we have to stay inside the tolerance of the engine. It makes no sense to give even more power to the engine if a check engine light comes up, or in worst case, the engine turns to limp mode. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we always recommend check individually, check all different modes, which is also a different point. You have different programs on the power control. You can increase or decrease the performance depending on your demand. Test it. I'm 100% sure that you are happy with the different modes and settings. Only in case that you say, okay, I want to go to the track and I want to test if there's even a higher tolerance of my engine. In this case, let us know and we can send via remote a modified file.
That's
I have
awesome. I
one
did not know that.
question, Mike. I have one question on YouTube
Yeah, yeah, for
from
sure.
one of
Yeah.
our customers, Vince Lozano. Vince Lozano is a pedal box customer in his Jimny,
Hmm.
but he has a question for Bjorn about the Power Control X. Can a Power
Mhm.
Control X account for bolt-on modifications made to to a turbo engine, such as exhaust, an intake, water methanol spray, TGV deletes? Is that possible with a Power Control
Mhm.
X?
So normally the files on the power control are developed based on standard, on stock engines. That's an important point. And the second thing is they're developed for diesel and gas or petrol engines. Yeah. For methanol, I think we should more, it seems to be a petrol head, we should go more to ECU mapping.
Well, reading what his question, I think the way he applied methanol was quite like what Mr. Dominic Cuesta did for my STI before, which Jeff knows also. We put a water methanol spray just to be able to cool the air as it comes into the throttle body, to be able to just just be able to make it more dense. Um, so basically, for Power Control X, for that kind of extensive modifications, it's not exactly the product. Are you saying,
I would say
Bjorn?
we can handle this. We can handle that. Yeah, we can always discuss it with our engineers to find the right file for that. But if we are talking about a stock power control X, um, maybe it's not matching. Yeah? So maybe we have to modify the different files
Right.
and to make it matching. But in this case,
Right.
I think that this customer is much more petrol head, who is more into tuning. So I would refer to the ECU mapping.
Yeah, I think he's very much a crazy petrol head. I've known him for 25 years. Uh, I would refer him to either Leo or Jeff as well, because things like water methanol injection, things like installing a downpipe and whatever. These are things that you don't only do once. These are things that you do and redo and undo, and then you'll change things, like you'll change even just the nozzle size, right, of the water meth. And when you change the nozzle size, you're changing again the duty cycle, etc., whatever, etc., etc., and things I don't understand anymore. And these things you have to have your tuner close to you, with at least a phone call, and someone who can service you, and where in the car he can put the car on a dyno and at least work on the car in a custom manner. Is that right, Jeff, Leo?
Yeah.
To be able to maximize what you install with the water met, for example, to be able to maximize, then you can add more boost and more timing. Although with the DTE, we can also turn up the settings a bit, like what we do with the JB4. The JB4s you can run in conjunction with Met. So when the car sprays Met, they can add more timing and a little more boost.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, just from reading that question, it sounds like it would really be perfect for a custom ECU tune. Especially
I
knowing
think
that,
so. I think that's kind of like where you draw the line, right?
right.
And whatever.
Yeah, I would, as soon as you start playing with the TGV and EGR delete, I would definitely start going with a custom tune. Once you really go out of that stock system, even if you just do a simple thing as a downpipe, I would definitely go to be able to extract as much power as you can from that part. I would definitely go with a custom ECU tune to get your money's worth. Because even like, for example, like an OTS map from Cobb won't be able to really extract as that much power, from a downpipe or anything like that. Um, Here's another great question that this is something that I wanted to ask. How can a tune add more power and yet at the same time give a car better fuel efficiency? Is that possible, or is that just sort of a hocus pocus type of thing?
Well, it
The ECU mapper.
yeah, it is possible because one of the things that will happen when you get a tune is your car will be more responsive. So with more response, then you can have a lighter step on the pedal to move forward. Like with the FJ Cruisers, we get about zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3. I know it's not big, but for a car that does only 4 kilometers per liter, we
Every
get
little
about
thing
zero point
helps.
0.2 to zero point 0.3 kilometers per liter improvement. But it would still always depend on your driving. So, like with every inquiry on our page, when someone would ask me, I would always tell them we never claim that you'd get better fuel efficiency. It will still depend on your driving.
Mhm. With the power control, we give more torque to the engine. So the engine has more power even in the lower RPM. So you don't need to drive in the high RPM, shifting in the high RPM. And if you drive smoothly, indeed, you can save some fuel due to the higher torque.
Yeah,
Awesome.
with the yeah, for example, just like Honda, because 90% of my jobs are Honda. So
Or
based on
Hondas.
my experience, yeah, if you put an air fuel meter on stock ECU, you can easily see that the the air fuel is on the rich side,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that the manufacturers don't know where the car is going, meaning what country. So they have to be what we call this. Uh, they have to be on the really. Uh, for example, they don't know if you're gonna use the car on high altitude or winter, or it's very basic. So if you tune the ECU, for example, like what Sir Leo was telling, you will get more a little bit fuel efficiency, but I think about 5 to 10% more power.
Mm. When a stock tune on a car, and this is for all of you guys, is it tend to be more on the rich side of a tune or a lean side? And how does the manufacturer sort of decide, hey, we want to do lean, hey, we want to go, because again, they're sending cars everywhere, and obviously, a situation in or sort of a climate in Russia is going to be completely different from South Africa.
Yeah.
So how does a tune come from a factory? Is it rich? Is it lean? And how does that affect everything?
That would depend on the time that the car was released. Because before,
Yes, correct.
it was really rich. But now with the newer cars,
Yeah.
before, I mean, during the Hondas that we used to tune, it was rich, and then maybe in like for a B16, say, it would
Mm-hmm.
have about maybe 10 ECU codes for the whole world. But now for, let's say, like a Toyota Supra, you'd have more than like about 50 for the whole world. So in the newer cars, they run leaner because of the emissions. Even in city
Ah,
level, even in city, like the Porsches, the Audis, the newer cars, they run leaner. So it's different already. And also about the fuel economy, it is closed loop now. So part throttle, and they always target the stock. It's not that easy
Mm.
to make them more economical. Unlike before with the Hondas, we just put an AFR of 17 and idle, and a B20, a B18 with idle, and you would save
Mm.
a lot of gas. My H22 used to be 9 to 10 kilometers per liter.
Can we ask our panel, just for the more, since we did say to our audience that this is all about tuning, right? And
yeah.
this is, more or less, we're going into the basics. Could we ask our panel to quickly describe the different, the what being rich and lean means, and how to describe, and what a proper AFR is, and exactly what we're going for.
Yeah, definitely. So to the panel, I mean, what is the difference between a rich car and a lean car, and what sort of AFR is perfect, if there's such a thing?
Yeah. Uh, Jeff, I'd like to ask
Yeah.
you. Can we?
Yeah, for me, because mostly I tune the all motor cars. So my air fuel at the full throttle is around 12.8, 12.9. But it depends upon the purpose. If you're gonna use it on drag, just purely a drag car, I go
Mm-hmm.
on the edge a little bit. about 13.1. But if it's gonna use for endurance for a circuit race more than 12 or 15 laps, I go for the on the reach side. That's for
Okay,
me.
what is the characteristic naman in terms of when a car is rich, ano yung performance nun? When a car is lean, ano yung performance nun? And in terms of consumption also of fuel. If you
Because,
could elaborate for some more, Jeff.
yeah, because especially with the drag cars, they just gonna run it full throttle for just seconds. Eh. So return route, they're not gonna uh, make it full throttle. So you can go on the edge. For me, you can go on the edge because they just gonna do it for racing. Not unlike for the road race, um, you have to what do you call this? You go for durability because first for you to win, you have to finish.
Yeah.
That's true.
And can I throw the same question to Bjorn? Bjorn, could you help us illustrate the differences for the audience of what is rich and what is lean?
Yeah, what I can tell you is that we are selling worldwide our chip tuning boxes. So our files are developed on the different climate conditions. Of course, our products are not made for race cars. We offer our products for a very wide range, from the Fiat 500 0.9 twin air up to the Nissan GTR and all the hypercars, turbocharged hypercars. But our software, what I can tell you is based on the different conditions, we sell, for example, to the Middle East, to the desert. So where you have very high temperatures, but we also sell to Alaska. We also have customers in Alaska where it's quite cold. So the advantage is you never know before what is the exact customer, and we do not customize. Yeah, if we send the product to Alaska or to, I don't know, to Dubai. Yeah, but what we have is, in order to cope with the situation, we have different programs and different settings so that each individual customer can find the best matching setting, the best matching program for his individual car.
So to explain in a fast way, engines run with a mixture of it needs air and fuel. So a rich car has a mixture of not more, but more parts of fuel than air. Like if it's 12 parts air to 1 part fuel. Then a lean car is like 15 parts air to 1 part of fuel. So that's basically what we were talking about a while ago. So example, the new Miata, it will run at 14.7 at full throttle.
So basically, I mean, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, a rich car means that you've got more fuel than air, and then a lean car means you've got more air than fuel.
No,
Now,
that's there's always more air, but the
but
part of,
right.
yeah, the ratio. That's why it's called air fuel ratio.
Yeah, the ratio, it's just going to be a little bit different. Now, where is it safer? Is it safer to have a lean car, or is it safer to have more of a rich car? I'm assuming it really depends on what you're trying to do.
Well, if all things equal, the fuel is a cooling medium. So a rich car would be safer for when it's running. A rich gasoline car, because a rich diesel car is diesel and gas are opposite. So a diesel car, if it's rich, it will. That's when you melt your piston. That's when it's hot.
So even the tune on a diesel versus the gas is completely different from each
very
other.
different. You approach it differently, and also like even if you're on the dyno, even if it's the same car, like some car will be happier when it's a bit rich, and then some car will be happier when somewhat
A little leaner.
But That's why you data log up to where it's safe.
Mm. I've got another question here. Now, this is something that I've seen a lot lately, especially on social media. Is there's a lot of these devices that claim to be sort of universal, right? That you can put the system in a Suzuki Jimny, you could put it in a Mercedes Benz G63, and it's gonna bring amazing wonders to your car. Is that really possible?
Mhm.
I think
To be honest, in Germany, we do not have companies offering these kind of chip tuning boxes because Germany is very
under
strict.
500 pesos.
Maybe on Amazon. I have no idea. No, but the German government is very, very, very strict. So if you want to sell a chip tuning box, you need to have several different certifications, especially the TUV certification. We have this TUV certification for more than 3,000 or now 4,000 different engines. And it's quite important to have it, because if you don't have it and you drive with this kind of chip tuning box and the police stops you, you get punished. You have to pay for that. So what does the TUV certification say? So the TUV says that it's a very safe product. The emissions do not increase, and anything keeps standard, but you have some more performance. Yeah.
So having a TUV certified sort of item is important.
Yeah, it's important. So it's especially in Germany, it's important, but all European countries, they put a special eye on that. There's no law yet that you need this certification, but if I see our worldwide countries, they always ask for TUV.
Ah, did not know that.
You see, Mike, for us at Parts Pro, me being head of company, I've always been approached by these different brands, right, to carry these products. Actually, DT is the first one that we carried of these box tuning or chip tuning type of products, because it's the safest. And what convinced me to take it on, and for us, reputation is everything, because for us, we keep our customers and we have a strong and long relationship with all of our customers. So we don't just create a transactional kind of relationship, and after we
Right.
sell them something, bye bye and whatever.
Right.
For us, it's a long-standing relationship, and the TUV certifications for of the DTE products were the ones that said that this is a safe product. This is something that's just beyond between myself and the company. This is the German government and the TUV governing body, which says that any product that passes through this productization certification process is a safe product to use.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'd like. Yes, please go on, Bjorn. Please.
Yeah, it's absolutely necessary. So it also shows that we are always moving inside the tolerance of the engine, because there's a question which we have from worldwide customers. If a chip tuning box like the power control might be harmful to the engine, and once we show the TUV certification, we can assure that it's not harmful and we do not exceed any protection mechanism of the engine. Yeah, which you can easily remove by the ECU mapping. Not with the guys which are in our live stream here, of course, I'm 100% sure. But there are also ECU mappers who release the protection mechanisms where you can destroy easily the engine.
You see, like in my case, I said right in the past, there are a lot of tuners out there, and I'm sure Jeff and Leo have had experience where they're asked to come in after previous tuners worked on the car already, and basically, it's not an easy job. So like in the case of Jeffrey and Leo, these guys live on their reputations.
Yeah.
And their customers that vouch for them, and their customers that are happy with them, are happy with them by way of the performance of and safety of the tunes that they provide. This is something which is which comes with a relationship. I've known Leo for, what is it now, Leo? Maybe 12 years or something.
Yeah, I was told this.
I've known Jeff for, what is it now, Jeff? 30 years, 25 years, something like that. Uh, I think 30, right? 30 years and
Yeah,
something like
30.
that. And sometimes you don't have that kind of time to develop a relationship with a tuner, and you don't want to have to do this, and you just want to be able to create more power for your car, and you want to have something simple, and therefore, that's what the DTE is. You give them a call, you plug in the box in 30 minutes, then you're good. But if you're going to have something which is more, you're going racing, you're modifying your car with more things and whatever, then you go with custom tunes, like from guys like Jeff or Leo, depending on your application.
Yeah.
So with the question you were asking, I think you're referring to the ones that pop up on Facebook all the time, right?
Yes. The little red and yellow product.
Yeah, I tried it already. They dynoed it, so they
And
didn't get any gain. But it's their product. Then do it your way. Then we'll do things our way. Some people, because they think it's only 500, then why not try it? So
Right.
this is, if you're curious about it, then try it. Put it on the dyno and see what happens.
Let
I
me
was
give
I
you
was
one
in a
more.
Grab. I was in a Grab. Grab here is kind of like Uber, Bjorn, and the Grab driver asked me. He goes, "Hey, where do you work?" I go, "Where I work at Parts Pro and stuff like." He goes, "Great, I have a question." He goes, "I saw this thing online. It's only 500 pesos, which is roughly about $10." And he goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "Well, if it's the same product that I'm thinking about, it's up to you. It's your money, but good luck." Because something like that, there's no such thing as a universal application for a Suzuki, and the same thing would work for a Mercedes Benz. Every car is going to be a little different. Even from one STI to another STI, they could be completely different from each other. I go, good luck, it's your money. But if it was me, I certainly wouldn't put, the money. Yeah, it's only 500 pesos, but if it can damage your car, then the cost is a lot more than the 500 pesos at that time. Jeff, have you seen or do you have any experience with this kind of a product?
No, I haven't seen it yet. But I heard it from some of my customers.
But what did they say? I mean, like what do your customers say about it? Does it
I
work
think
or is
they
it
just
just
saw it. They didn't buy it.
uh,
Guys,
I don't
there's a
know.
question on our chat room. Guys, you can't see me, but you can hear me. All right.
big brother.
Let me ask you the question. What is better, DTE pedal box plus power control X or DTE pedal box plus remapping?
Ooh, that's a great question. That one's from Mikey Zhao.
Yeah, it's really a great question. So I prefer if you install both products, of course, from DTE. Yeah. But of course, the pedal box is also matching to the remapping. But I need to be honest, also when you make the remapping, you can modify the sensitivity of the gas pedal. So that's possible. Yeah. The advantage is that with the pedal box and with the power control, of course, you have two physical products which you can plug in, plug out again, use for your next car, whatever. So there's no general answer, but of course, the pedal box is always matching to the chip tuning.
I get the question all the time when someone wants a tune and they would ask, do I need to remove my throttle controller or do I need to add a throttle controller? They will work together. So, and the biggest thing about the pedal box is adjustable. So if your driver will drive it, you can tone it down. And if you will be driving it, you can modify it. Because I always tell them, if I tune your pedal to the aggressive map, then it's always there, unless it's like a BRZ where I can give you 4 maps, or like an STI which has the sport, the I, and the other settings. But
Yeah.
they will work. They will work together. So it will always depend on how you want your car to feel, and how you want it to drive.
Yeah. I fully agree with you, but let me give you another advantage of the pedal box and the power control. We have lots of customers driving a family car, and they are asking for some more performance. So the family car is shared by the wife, by the husband, by the kids, and the father or the mother, they do not want the kids to use the tuning. The advantage is that with the power control, you can turn off directly the power control, yeah, just switch it off, and the same with the pedal box, yeah. So the car is only stock, and the next morning, the mother or the father drives the car again and just switch it on, and you have the additional performance of the pedal box and the power control.
That's awesome. I've never even thought about that. Here's another question that we've got. Is it possible to integrate a crawl control by remapping or Power Control X module tune? This is a question for off-roading enthusiasts. So is it possible to integrate a crawl control?
With the ECU remapping, we just touch the ECU. The crawl control would need access to the ABS and all the other ECUs of the car. So right now, not really. But it is one thing that I would be happy to do. Like I would like to make a traffic crawl for a vehicle that
For the Philippines.
Just as long as there are no motorcycles cutting you.
Or a traffic
For
fuel
now,
map.
not yet.
Or a traffic fuel map.
Yeah, that would be
Yes.
great. That would be fantastic if we can do one of those.
Bjorn, have you been to the Philippines before, Bjorn?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to visit you very soon.
Yes, we would like you to experience our traffic here, and it's going to be a very it will be a very unforgettable experience for you.
Okay. Are
Maybe
you guys
we'll
on
all
the
get
Philippines? Are you addicted
yes,
to the smartphone?
Drive
You
in
love
the
your
Autobahn.
smartphone?
we have no choice but to love our smartphone because it's the only thing that's running. Yes.
Okay,
Right
the
now.
reason why I'm asking is because our power control, the Power Control X, also comes with a smartphone app. Maybe I can show it in the camera. So
Yeah,
if you
see,
install
go
the
ahead,
app,
please.
if you install the app, in the app you can see also the boost pressure, the intake manifold pressure, the RPM, and this is for the real guys, for the real petrol heads, it's coming with a G meter. So if you go to the track,
Oh, nice.
you can use your G meter. Just to show you.
That's live feed, right? On the app,
Yeah,
Bjorn?
yeah, that's live. These are live data coming from the sensors.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's both iOS and Android, right?
Yeah, it's for both.
Right. Mike, do you mind if I ask another question?
Yeah,
this
for
has been
sure.
in my head.
Yes.
Because I like hearing experience from the tuners. And for Bjorn, and then I have one question for Bjorn. Bjorn, you guys have 3,000 or 4,000 different applications, right, for it? I'd like to hear maybe your top three most popular or your most successful applications that you can share with us. And then for Jeff, I'd like to hear also from Jeff maybe one or two stories where of when tuning was pivotal in racing. For in where he was able to do something for the team to be able to perform in the race, and it was the tune that was pivotal. And for Leo, in your case, my question to you is, in the local setting, in the Philippine setting, which would be your top three cars today that would be excellent performers or excellent candidates for tuning? Cars that that would go from mild to whatever. Yeah. So Bjorn, could you go ahead, please? Your top three.
Yeah. Let me give you one example. I informed you about in the beginning. So one example is the Golf 7 GTI, yeah, where the stock performance is 220 horsepower. We reach up to 300 horsepower just by simple plug and play. So that's awesome. That's really awesome. Another example is because we had this car about 2 months before, we had it here to develop. It's the brand new BMW X4M with a stock performance of 480 horsepower. And we reach a performance of about 620 horsepower. And an additional 150 Newton meter in torque.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a real track car.
So, Jordan, I don't know if you heard that, but Leo just said something that
No, I said it. Shit.
Oh.
We are only 1 kilometer away from the highway, and you know that we have no speed limits here in Germany.
Yeah,
if you want to check the ground, if you want to, it's bird.
You've left some
no, it's
some
awesome.
number 11s.
It's really awesome. And you must imagine all inside the tolerance of the engine. As far as I know, the new X4M uses the new M3, M5 engine.
Yeah, the S58.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, maybe one more example. I know you are pickup guys there on the Philippines. If we talk about the Ford Ranger 2.02 TDCi, as an example, 160 stock. Yeah, we have an additional 24 horsepower and 58 Newton meter in torque, 58? Which we can easily reach.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. See, all of this out of a box, right? It takes you maybe
right.
15, 20, 30 minutes to install the box. And then when you, if I'm not mistaken, right, Bjorn, you said if you remove the box and you go into the dealer for warranty or whatever, there's no trace that there was a box or there was ever a tuning solution or whatever. So it takes you so and so just a couple of minutes to put it on, takes you a couple of minutes to remove it. You can put it back on. If you sell the car or whatever, you can sell the box separately to someone else and whatever.
Yeah.
And you get numbers
You're right,
like that.
So if you go for inspection, I always recommend just to remove the module from the harness. You put a blind plug on the cable. There's no trace on the ECU, and after inspection, plug it again and have fun. Another thing is maybe just if it's an interest. If you change your car, for instance, you now have the GTI and then you buy the Ford Ranger, you can use the same module. So your dealer, your reseller just have to flash the new software, the engine related software, very important. Maybe you need a new cable, but then you can use the same hardware again for your next car.
Oh, that's fantastic.
New cable because the pin configuration is different.
Yeah,
pin configuration of the cable, most probably it's different. If you talk about VAG group cars, maybe there's an assortment of 6, 7, 8 different cables. Yeah. But if you change from brand to brand, most probably the cable is different. The pin configuration is different.
Got it. Let's move on to Jeff. Jeff, I really want to hear the race stories, right? How this happened, and whatever.
Yeah, there is this one incident during the race because they had a race 1 and a race 2. So after race 1, I found out that my engine already had a problem. So one of my customers is getting points, so he has to run the car on race 2 also.
What series was this?
Philippine GT.
Okay, and what kind of car?
It's a Civic FD. It's a K24 K series.
Hello.
Yeah. You can hear me?
Oh, okay. A K24 engine. Okay, go ahead.
So the problem is, I found out after race 1 that we already had too much blow by. So the engine is for 10 laps. I nearly add 3 liters of oil after 10 laps. Wow. So for him to finish the race 2, I have to remap the ECU. I lowered my VTC, I lowered my ignition timing, and lowered my air fuel also. So that's why I did adjust my air fuel is for the oil para hindi siya ma-wash out ng fuel. Kasi nagbaba ako ng ignition timing and VTC. But the problem that I was thinking, if I do all of those things, the driver will feel it that he lost power. So what I did is increase something on the RPMs that I knew that he was using exiting from the turn. And then on the top end, remove some of the power. So luckily he finished. I think that's my story.
See? Yeah, so many things. Excellent. Perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten enough points and wouldn't have finished the series in the
Yes,
place
correct.
that he would have finished in.
Yeah, correct.
Galing. And then Leo, I'm siguro if I can ask you na maybe top five cars that candidates that are good candidates for top five local cars that are good candidates for tuning.
Well, of course, there's always like the Civic, the turbocharged Civic, the 1.5. It's always it makes 200 plus
Talaga?
soon. Just bolt-on parts. Then yeah,
So you mean to say a Civic RS has a lot of potential? I didn't know. I really didn't know.
not. I mean, it starts out at 150. Then if you put the bolt-on parts, like right now, the highest stock turbo is 237. So not bad for a 1.5 engine.
Yeah, that's not bad for 1.5.
Yeah, with the bolt-ons and just a tune. And then
Automatic.
of course, you always have the
Automatic, ano?
automatic. Yeah, so yeah, the CVT has to limit the power. Then of course, you always have the Monteros, SUV that people like to play with. It's always if you have 400 torque in an SUV, then it will really pull you back into your seat. Then the 86 is always a good car. So very nice handling. So whether you leave it all motor or you turbocharge it, then you'll be able to play with it. And
Okay. For that one,
yeah,
if I may cut you there, huh?
yeah,
For the new Subaru engines, the new Subaru FA engines, are these very receptive to tuning? I mean, like for example, if I had a Levorg, right, and I
yeah,
tuned a Levorg because that has a new FA20, right?
yeah.
Is it more reliable than the EJ25 derived
It's
engine?
a lot more reliable. It doesn't get loading land failure unless you really overboost or do something wrong with it. Because
Okay.
one of the biggest differences between the STI, the FAs and the EJs is the FAs already have a charge air temp sensor, so the air coming into the engine, if it gets hot, it detunes itself by a lot. The STI only looks at what goes into the air filter. So like what I always tell people, the STI boys, if you go on fun runs, then you go full throttle on the highway, then you get to the toll, and you stop for picture taking or whatever. And syempre, when the convoy goes, they usually floor it. And if you leave your engine idling, then your intercooler, their top mount intercooler, has turned into an interheater. So you will surely get knocked and kill your engine.
Okay.
The FAs, they don't do that
Okay.
because they already have the charge air sensor. But so and like we push FAs like 86, we pushed it to 500 wheel stock. The FA20 in a manual WRX, 399 wheel stock. So I
Wow.
think
To, seryoso ka?
I think the advancement in technology has really made it beefier. And then to add to the list, I of course there's always the GTR, which you can get to from bolt ons from 600 and then to whatever mods you put, and the new Supra, because the technology,
Really? Oh.
yeah, the technology is advanced. Like even if it's in third gear at 2000 RPM, it will move forward because of the gearing and the transmission and everything.
Okay, well that's what have you seen as a stock dyno of the new Supra or the new BMW Z4?
They make about 340 at the wheel,
That's not bad, considering it's
but
380.
yeah, but with just a tune, you get them up to 410, 420 at the wheel already.
And with mods.
With mods, you get a downpipe, you get to about 430, 450. And
What's the most well? Okay, what's the least number, the least amount of mods for you to hit 500 in a Supra?
you would need a downpipe and a flex fuel sensor to be able to put some E85, which is
And that's it.
yeah, that would make about
Shit.
480 to 500 at the wheel with the flex fuel and the downpipe.
That new BMW
Tangina.
Supra engine looks
Yeah,
it
then
looks like it has
Tangina.
a lot of potential.
you can run with the big boys.
Yeah, that car looks like it's got a lot of potential.
Okay,
Yeah,
And speaking of,
but that's nuts, huh? I mean, that much out of that with just the downpipe and but then again, you know what? DTE has a pedal box
yeah, they have
product for the
yeah, and the power control.
I'm sorry, not
they
a power
have
control, a power
product
control product
Yeah.
for the how much do you get out of the out of that product, Bjorn, for the new Supra or the BMW Z4?
Okay, we have around, I would say around 20% plus. It always, of course, depends on the individual engine, the tolerance of the engine, but you can say about 20%.
Okay, so let's say like if it's like 350 horsepower or whatever, if you say 20%, you get 70 horsepower more
Roughly.
already.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty consistent with Leo's experience with just the tune. So where it now lies is when you start adding the downpipe and the flex fuel sensor, and you start putting on E85 and something, and then you're looking at bigger numbers. Jeff, were you able to do the BRZ of Poland before when Poland did E85?
No. I was not the one who
Or
tuned it.
we did the tuning for that.
okay, who was
Actually,
doing?
Leo, I
Ayo,
tuned.
sorry. Okay, sorry.
Ah.
Leo. Okay, Leo. When we did that, if I remember, because that was the one of the first local cars that I experienced that had E85. What's the difference between in horsepower gain when you use E85 with a tune versus not using regular pump gas?
It would depend on the motor and if it's turbo, you get more gains. But like the
Mhm.
86, they usually get 10 wheel horsepower. But the Mustangs, you can get 20 to 30. With just when we just turn on the
The
flex fuel.
flex fuel. Mm.
Okay.
So turbo
Next,
cars,
last
you
question.
more.
Yeah, but what about for diesel cars, naman? What are the popular diesel cars? Those that are ripe for tuning for you.
Usually the Monteros and the Navaras. But the MUX has a
So,
power engine. It just has a slow transmission. But the big
oh, okay.
it's 3.0, so it's a good engine.
Okay. Jeff, do you have experience tuning diesel cars?
No. I didn't have.
You
Always
stay
wanted
away
to.
na.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
always wanted to tune diesel.
okay. And going back to Bjorn, for you guys, what are the popular diesel cars that you guys were able to extract power out of with Power Control X?
Yeah, the most powerful, or let's say the most common car here, especially in Germany and in Europe, are the 2.0 TDI engines of the VAG group. Yeah, Volkswagen, Skoda. Yeah, we nearly have daily customers ordering the power controls for this engine. Yeah.
Okay. Although, would you be able to say why it performs well, the VAG engine?
One of the reasons is the car is a bestseller. This engine is a bestseller in Germany. The second thing is that the car is mostly driven by people who are working, who are daily on the street. And they are, mostly they're not happy with the performance. They're asking for some more performance. These are salespersons, and they want to have a quick solution because the cars, especially this car, is financed or leased by the company, and they want to have this plug and play power control. Yeah.
Well, typically, with a typical German customer, how many kilometers a day does he drive anyway?
With this car, in general?
Yeah.
So if we're talking about Volkswagen, I would say around 250,000 kilometers.
Per
the car is
in the life of the car.
The same driver.
No.
You mean the same driver?
No, I'm saying I'm saying per driver. Let's say on a week. Let's just say on a weekly basis, how many kilometers would the driver run in a week?
In a week, easily more than 1,000 kilometers.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot of highways here.
Yeah, I know. I think Leo, how about here? What would it be in your guess?
Here, maybe it depends on who's driving. Maybe you won't get 100.
Yeah, that's right. You won't get 100 in a week or something. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Like although in my don't ask me. Don't ask me. I think I haven't done. I think I haven't done 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers in 5 months because of this. Anyway,
okay, but if
Mike, do you have any other?
Tuned, it's nice.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to ask is, I know Bjorn's at the headquarters right now. Bjorn, is it possible for for you to give us a quick tour? Sort of. I know you guys have a dyno at your facilities and things like that. Is it possible before we end, unless anybody else has questions out there, for you to give us a quick tour?
Okay. I give you a quick tour. I will not hear you, but I will show you something and I will explain you. Okay.
Awesome.
Let's go. Okay, here we are in the workshop. So always when we get a new car, the car comes here, we have a Maha lifter, and our engineers, they check for the sensors, which sensors are needed, which sensor plugs are needed. You must know that we always try to find the best way to install the power control in the engine compartment. So we need to find the shortest way, and we need to find the best way to install the module. So this is what we do here. Beside to that, what is quite interesting, we do not have only a car dyno. Yeah, we also have a dyno for tractors. So we are also in the field of farming, giving more performance to tractors. So this is the garage, the workshop. If we go outside, this is our production building on the opposite side.
Oh no, I think we lost.
Different countries. So on the left side, also our marketing department. And here we are working from Monday to Friday. I know. So the dyno runs nearly every day. It's not that we daily develop a new engine or the power control for a new engine, but I would say every second day we get new cars. And this is the very dyno. It's a and yeah, this is the working place of my colleagues, our engineers. And what is quite interesting now, we are also in the field of e-tuning. So we are checking what we can do in future with electric engines. So it's a big trend. It's a big trend now coming to Europe because more and more cars are electric, not only for the city, but also for bigger distances. And we check what we can do, if it's only efficiency, if it's necessary to give more power to electric engines. So, and these are the secret halls where we check what we can develop and what we can do. Yeah, this is how it looks like. I could show you to the administration and the production facilities, but I think that's not that interesting for you at the moment. This is just to give you a quick overview about DTE systems.
Thank you very much.
Nice. It's big, big place.
That's a great facility. That's interesting that they're going to start working on EV cars.
Yeah, I saw in the one of the photos of Bjorn that they were working on a Porsche Taycan.
Yeah. Bjorn, can you hear us now?
Yes, I'm back again.
Awesome. Thank you for that tour. One of the most interesting things that you said was you guys are starting to work on EVs. And then I think that one of the photos that we got was that you guys are working on the new Porsche Taycan.
Yes.
How can you tell us a little bit, if it's possible, about what you guys are
Yeah.
planning on doing with that car?
So we had the Taycan here for several days. And our engineers were sitting together checking what the whole engine parts. So the thing is that we need to see what we can do in future, because the trend is here, especially here in Europe, in Germany. Germany is still a big country for car brands. And so we have a lot of inquiries from worldwide. So if there's any possibility to give more power, even to a Porsche Taycan, and I'm pretty sure that we will come up with a new product in the next couple of months, maybe beginning next year. But what I can tell you is we already have the pedal box for the Taycan. The Taycan is already enormously powerful, has a great acceleration, but with the pedal box, it's a completely different car. Even that, yeah.
Well, that's crazy. How, EVs they're very, very quick to react on the pedal. Then having a pedal box with that just makes it, instant, even more instant than what it already is.
Yeah. So the acceleration is really amazing. I was able to drive this car, and to be honest, it's not easy to keep the car on track. So you have all the different supporting systems in the car, but it's so fast, it's so quick. If you are not familiar with such a car, it's quite dangerous. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. And again, thank you so much for giving us a tour. Again, if anybody out there has any more questions, please let us know. Before we end, one quick question for all of you guys. If I'm a customer and I want to tune, I want sort of a product or something to add to my car, what kind of questions should I ask a tuner or a representative of a brand so that I can sort of make the best decisions for me?
So from my side, if you ask me, if somebody is checking for a piggyback or a chip tuning box, I always recommend ask for the TUV certification. Especially if the company is TUV certified, that's a very important point. I would always ask where the product is made, if it's made in Germany or in any different European country. So this gives a lot of safety. Yeah. And of course, it always depends on the reseller, on the dealer. So if it's Parts Pro, for example, you can be 100% sure that they are offering a safe product.
Quick question, Bjorn. Is the DTE or the Power Control X or the pedal box, has that been sort of copied by other countries or anything like that? And if it has, I mean, what sort of things should a consumer look out for?
Of course, we have some worldwide competitors. We always say we are the worldwide technology leader. So we have the big chance to get the cars as the first ones. Just to give you an idea, when the Cent engines were launched, we were the first ones having a power control for this kind of Cent engine. So we have very experienced engineers. So that's quite an important point. So you always check if this company is really a technology leader. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about for Jeff and Leo?
There's another question for Bjorn for DT. It's also from the same customer as earlier, Vince Lozano. He's asking if there are any updates for the Subaru Levorg Power Control X that's being developed, because it's a product that needs to we have customers that are waiting for it, and it had been sent into DTE for development.
Our engineers are already informed about the Levorg, Subaru Levorg. So we try to get this car here also in Germany. So sometimes you have this, for example, Japanese cars earlier on the Philippines than we here in Europe. But we are doing our very best to develop the software via remote also with our team on the Philippines. So I expect to have the power control latest by end of this year.
All right. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Bjorn. And then for Leo and Jeff, what sort of questions can a future client sort of talk to or ask, the tuner, so that they can make the best informed decision for themselves?
Or should Jeff go ahead?
Ikaw na muna, Sir Leo.
I always tell everyone, what do you want to happen with your car? So, start from there. Don't talk with your tuner about it. So that you're aligned. Then it's basically managing expectations. I cannot tell you that I will be able to give you 500 wheel horsepower from your STI with stock. So what do you want to happen with your car? Then also if you're a customer, I think the best thing to ask, maybe even if you don't ask the tuner directly, ask around if what happens if your car has a problem. Can you contact your tuner? Can you get a hold of him? Will he go to you? Do you have to schedule with him? Do you have to go to the shop? Because these are important things. We want for the industry to grow. We want this modification thing to be a hassle-free thing for everyone. So if it doesn't happen, if there are shops who give people a bad experience, and if people they will stop modifying their cars, and that's not where we want to go. We are here to make everyone happy, make everyone feel excited about driving their cars. So I hope we help each other with doing that. So I guess that's the main thing. As the shop, do you play with your car? What do you have the time? Do you have the not just the time? Do you have the resources to address my problem? Because if a shop has even if he's a good-hearted person, if he doesn't have time or resources to go to you to wherever you are, your car might be in Baguio, in Pangasinan, or wherever, then he might not be able to fix your problem, and you'll be stuck with it, and you might end up regretting modifying, which is first thing that could happen, because the whole industry, the image of the car shops, the image of the tuners, it gets tainted. So we don't want that. So ask around. Then if you're shy, because some shops, some people they go to the shops because they're their friends. So ask around before entrusting your car to your friend, because sometimes you're stuck between the friendship and your love of your car. That's the worst. That's the worst place you can get into, because you don't want to get it done by someone else because your friend might get hurt, but you're stuck with a car that you don't want a car that you're thinking about when you're going at 200 kilometers per hour in some roads in Batanes. That it might blow up or it might go to limp mode. You want an enjoyable experience.
That's true.
Solid. Jeff, ikaw,
Yeah, for me, I think it's a different perspective because almost all of my clients are in, yung mga full race, no, yung the sa circuit. So siguro may tip na lang to customers is to fully trust your builder and tuner. Don't be like bakit compare other tuners with di ba, bakit itong tao na to gives more horsepower. Iba-ibang attack nung nagtatrabaho. So hindi pare-parehas lahat ng tuner. And then may mga customers kasi na you tune their car and then after that they go to another tuner and then they wanted to retune it. So I think it's if you go to this tuner, make a research as bago ka pumasok doon sa papasukin mo kasi it's not
agree ako dyan.
no. So para if you're doon sa kung sino man yung tuner mo, magkakaintindihan kayo kasi you're on the same direction.
Tama. Alam mo, yun ang sinasabi ko kanina, Mike, na talagang in the case of Leo and Jeff, no, yun talagang yung reputation ng tuner, di ba, yung trustworthiness and yung track record of the tuner in terms of the work that he has done and the safety of the work and the quality of the tunes that they have done will speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So and then each tuner should do his best to safeguard his reputation primarily. I have one question from which came in from Facebook, which is a very interesting question, and this is for I would like to use this question to end the session, Mike, and I'd like to throw this to all three as well. If this is from Victor Buensuceso, there is thinking out there wherein if you detune an engine, will it prolong the life of your engine? This is I think a good question.
For me, if there's limit, no, may point na if you go sobrang detune, it will also damage your engine. Kasi may parameters lang eh. For example, you reduce timing when it's not needed. The tendency of the engine, mas mainit yung combustion chamber. So maraming factors for me. So when I say detune it, hindi yung
sobrang below.
Yeah, kasi it will damage your engine. That's for me.
And Leo, for you?
Yeah, as a mechanical engineer, the engines, they're designed to make a certain horsepower. So if you detune it, to be able to detune it without reducing its size, then you would have to change things with the tuning about it. So it will really make it would make things different, and then not necessarily like what Jeff said. It will not necessarily make things safer. And before you end, I'm curious about Dominic Cuesta's question.
Yeah, you're right. We'll ask that
with all honesty. I started
the super fine
tuning from Dominic because when I was his customer, he would tell me and Ryan, my partner, to test the car. What do you think it need? What does it need? So he would be in his office, and then we would take the car to EDSA, and then go back to his office in Morato. So I'm curious about this question.
Right. All right. Yeah. Siguro, Dominic, if you're still there, Pops, baka pwede, please ask your question already.
Let's hear your question.
Kung wala ka, saan ka pumunta?
Kumakain na si Papa Doms. Kumakain na.
sa tingin ko ng Kalyos tsaka Paella tsaka Hamon. Bjorn, if I'd like to pose a question to you about detuning your engine and whether it helps.
Yeah, so therefore that we are always inside the tolerance of the engine when we tune the engine, which we never exceed the tolerance. But also if you detune the engine, you know, as I explained, you can switch off the power control. There's no negative influence on the engine, on the mileage or anything like that. So you're always on the safe side.
Okay. So, can someone check, Direct? Could you kindly check to see if Dominic asked this
No,
question?
I haven't seen any
None?
question from Dominic yet. Not yet.
Yeah, no questions from
Let's see.
Dominic.
Maybe he's on YouTube.
Where did you go?
No, nothing
Okay.
on YouTube yet either.
Maybe
nothing on
maybe he's having the paella, hamon, and kalyos. Right.
He was
Anyway,
live and asking and commenting earlier. I'm not sure where he went.
yeah, maybe went to dinner. Mike, I'll leave the floor to you in closing, and
Yeah,
let's
I
need
just want to say
some parting words from each of the guests.
yes, please. I just want to say first of all, thank you guys, thank you gentlemen for spending the Saturday with us. Thank you Bjorn. I know you guys are off today at DT, so thank you for coming into the office. Thank you so much for giving us a quick tour of the DTE facilities. It's really nice, and hopefully once this whole thing is over, we can maybe visit you guys out there in Germany. Bjorn, before we close,
Yes.
is there anything that you would like to sort of say before we go ahead and end the session this evening?
Yeah, I appreciate that you invited DTS Systems to this live stream, and I'm happy to be a part of your family. And if you have further questions, always let me know, and I do my very best to answer as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bjorn. Again, Mr. Leo, Mr. Jeff, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Go ahead, please, Leia. If you guys, how can people sort of, potential clients reach you guys if they need anything from you guys?
Oh, our Facebook page, Speedworks Engineering, is I always reply there. I try to reply ASAP. So whatever questions you have, and we're always willing to help. And then also, I would tell you directly if what you want to happen is not something that we can do, because we won't accept jobs that we're not sure of. That's important also when you're looking. So just don't get a shop who says go, and then you'll end up with your car after a year and it's still there. Get your money, or even return your money if I did not do the job well.
And you, Jeff, any parting words for you?
What?
Yeah, just you can reach us to our Facebook also, and then parting words, maybe just happy racing.
Club 300, see you tomorrow.
And for me, I stick up for all of these gentlemen. And if anybody would like to reach out to them, they're free to do it through Parts Pro.
Yes.
And Parts Pro will more than gladly hook customers up with either DTE, with Jeff De Leon or Leo of Speedworks, and we will gladly help customers also determine which is best for them. And whichever way, we're here to share the knowledge that whatever knowledge we have, and our time and the service that we have to offer to our customers. And again, I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in today in this live stream, episode 5. Next week is episode 6. Episode 6 next week. Our guests are Ramon
YG. And Ramon
Sam
Bautista.
YG and Ramon Bautista. The topic is how to be a car guy. A nice, lighter topic next week.
Next week,
from after
magtatagalog
tuning.
na ako.
Next week talaga
na ako next
magtatagalog ka na, Mike.
Wala akong choice.
Talagang at saka sigurado yan, if it's Sam and Ramon, magiging bastos ka rin.
So boss, before we go, ako naman.
Yes,
sorry guys, you can't see me, but I wanna just say hi to
Direct.
a couple
Thank
of
you again.
I just want to say hi to a couple of people tuned in right now. Team Pusit, right? Master namin si Leo. Group of Montero owners that are ECU tuned. Marami sa kanila nag-tune in sa atin. So thank you guys for tuning in. At si Leo yung bumutas ng bulsa namin. So, all right. Thank you guys.
All right.
Awesome. Thank
Okay,
you,
Mike.
gentlemen. Thank you guys so much. And again, thank you guys for everybody that tuned in today. I have one last question. This is for Bjorn. I've got a gentleman. This is something that he just asked me. He sent me a private message. Do you guys have anything for a Prado? For the Power Control X? If I'm not mistaken, you guys have something for a Prado, right?
Yeah, sure. Land Cruiser Prado?
Yes.
Of
Yes.
course.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So for that gentleman, yes, there is a Power Control X available for the Prado. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, the gentlemen, for spending your time with us this Saturday. Thank you guys so much. And of course, if you guys have any questions, again, if you guys have any questions about Speedworks, 4Speed, and obviously DTE as well, please don't hesitate to go ahead and contact and message PartsPro.PH. We will be more than happy to assist you guys. One of the things for us is that relationship, and again, we've got amazing relationships with these gentlemen, and we can sort of really help you guys, talk to them and figure out what route is the best tune for you and for your vehicle. So again, thank you guys so much. Happy Saturday. Happy the rest of your weekend, and please stay safe out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Greetings.